Okay, this is a video on how I would use the readworks.org passages to help students, particularly in an English class or a social studies class, in order to be prepared for a standardized test. Lots and lots of students do struggle with close and critical reading, and I love ReadWorks because it provides you with an awesome library of all different kinds of resources, particularly of nonfiction texts where kids struggle the most, that you can use, and it really aligns it to your grade level, and it aligns it as well to your topic. So I've already logged into the readworks.org, and you can sign in. You are going to have to sign in. The account is basically free. And then I'm going to use right here, this part of the website where you can do keyword, grade, Lexile level, topic, and text type to really kind of find a passage that's going to work for my class. So in this particular instance, I did not set the grade level or the Lexile level because I found that I wasn't really getting as many results as I'd hoped for. I did choose civics and government. And for my strategy, and I love this, you can see there's a lot of different strategies. You can pick author's purpose, cause and effect, classify, categorize, drawing conclusions, explicit information, fact and opinion. And I will tell you that a lot of kids really struggle with this part of drawing conclusions and also with explicit information. Those are, again, two skills that are very important in close and critical reading, which are some of our big goals for our district. Under topic, I chose civics and government. There are lots of choices here. There's science, and there's school and life, art, culture, and religion, which would be great in an ELA class, U.S. history, and then I'm just going to hit apply. And so when I did that, there was only one result that came up, and I knew this because I did it in advance, but this is a really great passage. I do want you to note the grade level on this passage is 6th grade, which is relatively lower, but yet there's some great skills that you could teach from this passage. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And then it's going to open up to a printable passage, which I could share with my kids. And this one's called Not So Looney Tunes. And you're going to see the headings are here. And there's a lot of great, the text, just the way it's organized. I like how they highlight some of the different vocabulary words. Lots of them are those tiered vocabulary words you want to be using in instruction with your class. And really those section headings. And I think those section headings are really important when you're working with kids and helping them to reread and go back and read critically, because they're really going to help the students identify what part of the passage where they would find the answer. So you can print this. And then there are questions that go here. So I think these questions are excellent. And of course, you're going to have the answers as well. And what I really like about this, a strategy that I often use with my class, is finding questions that are challenging for kids and then putting kids in groups. And then I would use a tool like this whiteboard, and I would say, okay, so for number 1, we're talking about the Eagle and the Egg cartoon. And it's even more appropriate now than several years ago because, and you're going to see a lot of choices here that seem to make sense to kids. So what I always taught the kids to do is they would write A, B, C, and D. And then the strategy is so simple. It's as old as can be, but it works really well. Y, M, and N. And of course, that's going to stand for yes, maybe, and no. And so I would always start off with the kids and partners and having discussions about, okay, working with your partner, decide which ones that you think are absolutely the N's. Which ones are the no's? You know that you can get rid of this right away. And then, of course, they would come back down here and they would choose. And, you know, they might say, okay, I don't think that D is reasonable at all. So that is a no. And now we're left with these 3 choices, all of which seem relatively appropriate. And now, of course, we're going to have to go back to that passage and we're going to reread. And this is where, you know, use of a highlighter can be fabulous because you have them identify where they're talking about symbolism, where they're talking about the eagle and the egg, and that would be right in this portion. And they would highlight where they found that answer, and then actually right next to it, you know, I found number 1 here under the heading of symbolism. And then coming back here, they would say, you know, really maybe C makes sense. Maybe B makes sense, but really when I'm looking at these, I have a strong feeling about A, and then as they work together, they would maybe identify that A is the correct answer. And then I think, particularly if you've chosen some really difficult passages or difficult questions, you could ask the class as a group to debrief on why they used this strategy and how it was helpful to identify that A was the correct answer.